Everyone tells you that landing in Cancun, Mexico can be overwhelming, and that's why a lot of people panic and overpay for a shuttle. You can spend over $100 on a shuttle or a taxi ride to get to your final destination. But there is another option for you, and I'm here to show you how and to save you money. If you really want to experience Mexico in your own authentic way, you need to break out of that tourist bubble. Taking the ADO bus isn't just the cheapest way to get to Playa del Carmen, but it is one of the more comfortable, cleanest, and most efficient ways to get to your final destination. And it's the ultimate rite of passage for fearless, independent travel. Before my first trip to Playa del Carmen, I was about to book one of those expensive shuttles, and I was talking to my tutor who lives in Playa del Carmen about what the potential options were for transportation. And I said I was gonna get a shuttle, and she said, no, you just take the ADO bus. And this turned into a whole vocabulary and language lesson for me on how we get from the Cancun Airport to Playa del Carmen using the ADO bus. She said it was clean, efficient, and inexpensive. And I'm here to tell you she was right. I'm gonna show you step by step on how to navigate it like a pro. The test becomes the moment you clear customs. You walk, you grabbed your luggage, you've shown your passport, you've been through security, and now you have to enter what they call the shark tank. A lot of tourists call this because there is 2 walls of timeshare people wanting to help you with their assistance, but it's really a hustle to try to get you to get on board with one of their timeshares. Your best option is to look straight ahead and head for the doors. Don't make eye contact, don't talk with people, just keep moving and say no gracias. Once you hit those doors to the outside, that Mexican heat and humidity is going to set you back. But the place that you want to go is beyond the throngs of people holding up the signs with the last name. Push through there and you're going to go to the ADO kiosk. It's a red kiosk and there's usually 2 or 3 buses sitting right behind it. Getting a ticket is simple as walking up to that kiosk and saying, what's your destination? They usually have a list of destinations and costs right in the front of the kiosk. And so you can see where you want to go. Just tell them where you need to go. You can pay by credit card or you can pay with pesos or dollars. They're going to hand you a ticket. It's going to look like this. It's going to have a couple things circled on it telling you which bus you're going to use, and it's going to tell you what your seat number is, what time it leaves, and what type of tickets you have. There's another quick tip that I've found is I always look at the bus number. It just says autobus and it usually has a 4-digit number on it. That's on the bumper of the bus. So if you're not quite sure which bus is going to be yours, that's pretty helpful. So sometimes it's a 15 or 20 minute wait for your ADO bus to get there. This is where you can stand and you can wait in the humidity, or you can go visit the bar to get one of the best tasting, because it's your first one, pina coladas, and also probably one of the most expensive pina coladas that you're going to have the entire trip. So the next step is your bus is going to pull up and there's going to be a driver or some other assistant that's going to call out that they're now boarding for this bus. You're going to take your ticket and show it to them because they want to scan this barcode to make sure that you're supposed to be on this bus. Once you get the green check mark, they're going to take you and your luggage back to the middle of the bus and load it on. Now, specifically for Playa del Carmen, there are 2 different stations in Playa del Carmen. There's the Turística, which is right near Parque Fundadores, or there's Alterna, which is down about Calle 20, Calle 20. So they're about 10 blocks apart, but they're both serve Playa del Carmen and they're both very nice in nice neighborhoods. So don't worry if you have to go to Alterna, it's no big deal. However, it is important to know which station you're going to go to, because sometimes the person loading your luggage will try to make sure all the Alternas and all the Turisticas are in the same spot underneath the carriage of the bus, so there's no mix-ups when you get to your destination. So once your luggage is loaded, then it's time to board the bus. And it's just like any tour bus that you see in the US. You're just gonna climb up there, up the 4 or 5 stairs to get to the bus deck, and you're gonna get hit with the air conditioning. And I promise you, it's almost freezing on the bus. They keep it nice and comfortable for the patrons to be able to relax on their trip. The next challenge is you need to find your seat, and they are on a little light. The seat numbers are on a little light right above the seat, right underneath that shelf where you put your carry-on luggage. Now this is the point where you're going to be impressed because these buses are comfortable. Seats are plush, it's clean, it's well apportioned. You're gonna have a bathroom in the back that's clean. Everything's gonna be really set up well for you. There's generally a movie that plays during your trip, and generally it's a movie that has either Spanish subtitles or dubbed in Spanish, but it's probably gonna be a Spanish movie. Your driver is going to make announcements in Spanish, so you're gonna have to just kind of listen very carefully to where you're gonna be at and what the driver's trying to announce. If you have any questions when the bus stops, you can always ask the driver and use Google Translate if you have to. One of the pro tips that I like is I bring up Google Maps when I'm on the bus, especially on the longer trips, so I can kind of tell where I'm at and how much longer it's going to take to get to my destination. Especially if there's multiple stops that the bus might be stopping at, then I don't get confused when I'm supposed to get off the bus. I had a really good experience when I went back to the Cancun Airport because it stops at all 3 of the Cancun Airport terminals. And so you really had to pay attention to which one your terminal was in order to get off at the right stop, because they're not very close together and it would be an expensive taxi ride just to go from terminal to terminal. Okay, the stations themselves are great. They are clean. They have rows of chairs that you can sit in. They have televisions with kiosks on them that show you when the next bus arrivals and departures are. They have a convenience store usually, so you can get snacks before you depart. Sometimes they have food. They always have a ticket counter. You can buy your tickets online, you can use their app, but I like to just go to the ticket counter and test my Spanish when I need to travel. One pro tip, while they usually have very clean and nice bathrooms, you do have to have some pesos with you because they're coin operated to get into the bathrooms. I've had the opportunity to take the ADO bus all over Mexico, not only to Playa del Carmen, but I've been from Tulum to Bacalar, I've gone over to Chilaquiles, I've gone to Valladolid, I've gone from Valladolid back to Playa del Carmen. It's just so easy to get around on the ADO bus. The drivers are super professional, the security is great and always present, the ticket people are very helpful, and it's a great opportunity to practice your Spanish. If you want to travel Mexico independently, the ADO is your key to Mexican travel.